सनातन रघुजुगल सनातन राधा कृष्ण को गोपना शाम कुंड राधा कुंड वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, द्वारका धाम की जय, स्वामी भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to them. All glories to them. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How is my audio?
Audio is okay.
Okay, great.
So devotees, we welcome you all to this today's SRIMAD Bhagavatam class. Our speakers here, so we'll be starting shortly.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mitaji.
Okay. So, are you posting there what's
yes.
the name? The verse?
Yes, I'll put the verse on the screen now, and then you can start. Just a second. Okay. Okay, here we are, so we can start.
There? Great.
Yes, Mitaji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. SRIMAD Bhagavatam 1:15-34. Yaya Harad Bruvo Bharam Tam Tanum Vijaha Aja Kanka Kantakam Kantakeneva Avayam Kapisitua Samam. Synonymous. Yaya, that by which Aharat took away Bhuva of the world, Bharam, burden, Tam, that, Tanu, body, Vijahu, relinquished, Aja, the unborn, Kantakam, torn, Kantakena, by the torn, Eva, like that, Dwayam, both, Cha, also, Api, although, Isitu, controlling, someone, equal. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur suggests that the rishis like Shanaka and others who were hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami at Naimisharanya were not happy to hear about the Yadus dying in the madness of intoxication. To give them relief from this mental agony, Sutta Goswami assured them that the Lord caused the members of the Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies by which they had to take away the burden of the world. The Lord and his eternal associates appeared of the confidential demigods to appear in the Yadu family and serve him in his great mission. After the mission was fulfilled, the demigods, by the will of the Lord, relinquished their corporeal bodies by fighting amongst themselves in the madness of intoxication. The demigods are accustomed to drinking the summarized beverage, and therefore the drinking of wine and intoxication are not unknown to them. Sometimes they were put into trouble for indulging in intoxication. Once the sons of Kuvera fell in the wrath of Narada for being intoxicated, but afterwards they regained their original forms by the grace of the Lord Shri Krishna. We shall find this story in the 10th canto. For the Supreme Lord, both the Asuras and demigods are equal, but the demigods are obedient to the Lord, whereas the Asuras are not. Therefore, the example of picking out a thorn by another thorn is quite befitting. One thorn which causes pinpricks on the leg of the Lord is certainly disturbing to the Lord, and the other thorn which takes out the disturbing elements certainly gives service to the Lord. So, although every living being is a part and parcel of the Lord, still one who is pinprick to the Lord is called an asura, and one who is a voluntary service of the Lord is called a devata or demigod. In the material world, the devatas and asuras are always contending, and the devatas are always saved from the hands of the asuras by the Lord. Both of them are under the control of the Lord. The world is full of two kinds of living beings, and the Lord's mission is always to protect the Devatas and destroy the Asuras. Whenever there is such a need in the world, and to do good to both of them. It finished?
Yeah, that's the end.
Okay. Let me. The Supreme Unborn Lord Sri Krishna caused the members of the Yadu dynasty to relinquish their bodies, and thus he relieved the burden of the Lord. This action was like picking out a thorn with a thorn, though both are the same to the controller. Very amazing. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyanam Janam Shalakaya Chakshurumiritan Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vraje Shatanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Katidu Pasana Vrajavadu Vargena Vakalpita Shrimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartamaham Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradharana Paraha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. This verse is very, very interesting. I'd like to know if my audio is okay, because here it's not.
Yes, Mataji, your voice is okay. You can go ahead.
The audio is fine.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'd like to remind all of us what happened with the Yadu dynasty. I had been to the place where Krishna brought all the Yadus to live, and from that place Krishna left this world. This place is in Gujarat. This place is in Gujarati, in the state of Gujarat, near Dwaraka, because Krishna was living in Dwaraka, and this place is there still, and it's a great place of pilgrimage. It's beautiful, and Krishna brought the Yadus there to leave this world, because the Leela was finishing, and then he thought that they're so powerful and so proud. If they stayed, he will cause so much. They will cause so much problem, so many problems. So Krishna, it was a plan. It was planned that, okay, so let me bring them, because I cannot leave and leave them. I cannot leave the Leela and leave them in the earth. That was Krishna's thought. But at the same time, because his sons, Krishna's sons, offended the Brahmanas, they got punished. So Krishna was sending also a message that nobody has permission. You know, it doesn't matter how powerful the person is to offend the Brahmanas. So, or, you know, offend or making fun. This is what Krishna's sons did. They making fun. They made fun of the Brahmanas. They got cursed by the Brahmanas. And then after that, all the Yadus were much more afraid. They are very much afraid about the cursing. And Krishna said, you know, there is no way to be free from that. You know, in this past time in Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gives a lot, he writes a lot about that pastime. I believe that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and also Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they were fighters. They were fighters against the Apa Sampradayas and against the Smarta Brahmanas. Both are big generals in our parampara. because like nowadays we live in Mayapur, and we are allowed to worship and allowed to live, and everywhere is accepted that a Western person can become a sannyasi, can become a guru, can become a Vaishnava, but in Bhaktivinoda Saraswati's time, things were not like that. And also in Bhaktivinoda Thakur time. So what I want to say is that the freedom we have today to preach to everyone, to chant the Maha Mantra and change their lives, becoming Brahmanas, becoming devotees of the Lord, becoming Vaishnavas. It was not always like that. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati and Bhaktivedanta Saraswati and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they paved the way that we are walking in this time, where we are, the facility that we have right now, it was not like came from the sky and was always like that. It wasn't. It was a big problem that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, first of all, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and when he became a devotee, the whole movement of Lord Chaitanya was full of deviators. They were deviants. They were not proper followers of Lord Chaitanya. What I want to say is that in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, the process presented by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis of Vrindavan, they disappeared, and they were in the hands of Sahaja people. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur reality. This is the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur was living, was like that. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proposal about Madhurya Rasa was completely twisted and misunderstood, and by all these apasampradayas. So people in general, they were thinking, oh, these people are crazy. It was lost. Actually, the point is, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his associates, they left. So, big Vaishnavas were there preaching. Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, Ramachandra Kaviraj, who else? Shyamananda Pandit, Rasikananda. There are so many names. They were big devotees. Oh, Virachandra, the son of Nityananda. He was a big preacher also. Janavamata. There was a big army of preachers in that time. Srila Jiva Goswami, he was also there, because Rupa and Sanatana, they left the pastimes earlier, but not Jiva Goswami, he stayed there. So all these people were preaching so much. The disciples of Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur had many disciples. Shyamananda Pandita, he inundated the whole Orissa with the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Shyamananda Pandit. He did a lot of work, and his disciple, the most important disciple of Shyamananda Pandit, is Rasikananda. Shyamananda Pandita, he was studying in Vrindavana under the guidance of Jiva Goswami. He was the one who was given the job to sweep the Sevakund. And there he found this Radharani's jewelry, and he went to the spiritual world. This is Shyamananda Pandita. He was very, very powerful. So he left Vrindavana, and then after he finished his studies, he left Vrindavan with Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasacharya, and they were preaching. He was preaching in Orissa. So it was a very big, amazing time. The first Gora Purnima was celebrated in it's a great celebration. The first Gora Purnima was organized by Narottam Das Thakur and Ramachandra Kaviraj. And in this Gora Purnima, the whole Panchatattva manifested in this festival. It's very important. There are so many pastimes, and here, in Mayapur, nearby places, near Bangladesh, where Narottam Das Thakur was living. So that time, it was amazing preaching. Somehow or other, it disappeared for some time. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur was here. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was here, it was completely disappeared. And it was in the hands of the Sahajas. This is what was happening. So this is the reason why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was fighting, and he was exposing the 13 Apa Sampradaya. Apa means fake Sampradayas. He was exposing them, and also he was exposing fake yogis. He was doing a lot. He was a judge. It was a good he was exposing and making complaints and finishing the Apa Sampradayas, and he was a judge, like very convenient. Krishna's intelligence, there is no limit for Krishna's intelligence, to do stuff. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was not a Krishna devotee. He was not born in a Vaishnava family, and he was, in his biography, stating that he even was eating meat before becoming a devotee. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was fighting against all these Apa Sampradayas, the Smarta Brahmanas. He established the Yoga Pita in the right place, and it was a big fighting. It was a court case to establish the Yoga Pita, where the Yoga Pita is today, here 1 kilometer from Mayapur. It was established by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and after 1 year of his death, the judge gave the sentence and said the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya is there in Mayapur, not in another side of the river Ganges, because of all the proofs that Bhaktivinoda Thakur collected and gave. So he was dead when it was established, but it was a big fighting. It was a big fight. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, came, and then he was insisting, anyone can become a Vaishnava. Stop this nonsense that the person should be like this, should be the family like this, you cannot do like this. It was established before that not anyone can become a Vaishnava. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they established that the process for everyone and each one. In Kali Yuga, things changed. The Namacharya is Haridas Thakur, and he is from a Muslim family. It was established by Lord Chaitanya. And even Rupa Goswami, they were forced to become Muslims, to have Muslims' name and work for Muslim government. But when they decided to come back, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you must come back and you be what you are, the acharyas. But you know what? Let me tell you something. That time, if you really come close, if one drop of water that come from a Muslim person touch you, you will miss all your credentials to do anything that related to deity worship and everything. All your Brahmana case, you lose everything. There is a story of Subudhi Roy. It's very important pastime. I don't know if I told you here before, maybe not. So Subudhi Roy, he was a Brahman and he was a king, and then he had some servants, and one of his servants, he chastised that servant, once, because he did something wrong, and then he, makes some scars in his back. So after some time, the same servant became the king, a Muslim king. And then his wife, he saw these scars in his back. And then she asked, what happened? And then he said, look, this was Subudhi Rai when he was my master. And she said, this is very bad. I want him to die. Why he did this to you? And then he said, no, no, no. He was a very good master. I did something wrong. He punished me. And she said, no, I don't accept that. Okay, you don't kill him, but don't kill him, but make him Muslim. So they throw water from their mouth on Subudhi Rai, and then Subudhi Rai from day to night lost everything. And he was going everywhere asking for help, asking people to help him to regain his position. And then they were dismissing him. No, you cannot do anything. No, this is, you know what? You have to just leave this world, commit suicide. I said, no. So he was going to different people. And then one day he went to somebody that told him, look, you drink ghee, 130 degrees, and then you die. And then when you die, you'll be born as a Brahmana. So this is an example for you guys to understand how was the society in that time. Society was like that. This was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. So, you know, he was going everywhere for help, and then he met somebody that told him, look, you have to meet Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya will give you a good solution for your case. And then he met Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya told him, look, go to Vrindavan, chant Hare Krishna, and serve the Vaishnavas. Don't have to worry about anything. And this is what he did. He went to Vrindavan, and he was living there and served the Vaishnavas. So in that time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, it was like that. It was a big, big discrimination. So I was telling you what it has to do with the text. That time when the Brahmanas were offended by the sons of Krishna, Bhaktivinoda Saraswati was telling that how education comes from purification, and by following the process, then by family background. He was speaking about that, you know, because this was his fight to establish that anyone through the reformation process of Bhakti Yoga can become a Vaishnava through education. Even Prabhupada said, everybody's born Shudra. They become Vaishya, Brahmana, or Kshatriya by education. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. So they were voting for education. They were voting for information. They were fighting, you know, fighting the society beliefs that, you know, because you're born like this, you have to die like this. For you, there is no way to overcome your bad habits. But this is not what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that just by chanting, all the bad habits can be destroyed. This is what he said. This is because in Kali Yuga, everybody will born Shudra. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. So must be educated to become better people, to become Brahmanas, or to become Vaishnavas, or to do spiritual advancement. Okay? So I'd like to check the verse again. Srimad Bhagavatam. Which verse is this, Prabhu? Or you put there? Okay, thank you. Okay, I have to go there. I can see here. You can go down? Okay, great. Just a second. Can please go to the verse?
Can you see it?
Yes, it's good. So that's the relinquishing their bodies and body of the world. This action was like picking out a thorn with a thorn, though both are controller. So here it's very interesting. Prabhupada was telling that Krishna is Swarat. It means he is completely independent. Krishna doesn't depend in people's opinion in this world, what they think about what that should be. Like Krishna is sending a message, to everyone. He's telling, you know what? I'm sorry, but guys, you're just human beings, limited, and you can't understand what I'm doing. And I'm sorry, but I don't have to explain, or I don't have to justify, or he is independent. Only Krishna is completely Swarat, completely independent. Prabhupada was telling this. So here is telling that the Shanaka rich, they didn't want to hear that the Yadus die in the medicine of intoxication. But actually, what they are telling is like, these people are demigods. They used to intoxicate. So what's your point? What's your point? It's just like, this is what they are. They are like that. There is no point of justifying or trying to be politically correct. Krishna was not politically correct. Krishna and Rukmini dialogue, Krishna and Rukmini conversation. Krishna says to Rukmini, why you marry me? Why did you marry me? Like, I'm not from the high position like yours. I'm worshipped by poor people, and my activities are confused, and nobody knows if I am a Vaishya or if I am a Kshatriya or what I am. And another thing that Krishna was doing, actually, Krishna was so handsome, and all these princes, they want to marry Krishna, and the fathers, the kings, were giving so much wealth. So Krishna was marrying so many girls, and with the girls, he was collecting elephants, gold, land, soldiers, everything you can imagine. So this is described in the SRIMAD Bhagavatam. Krishna was going somewhere, some Swayamvara, and earn the hand of the princess and bring all this wealth. So they were like, Krishna, look how you get your wealth, by marrying girls, marry one after another, one after another, one after another. What are you doing? So they were thinking, about Krishna like that, like, you crazy, man. Why you marry so much? And Krishna was just getting rich and rich and rich and more rich. That's the truth. If you read Bhagavad, this is what he was doing, just getting married, getting the girls, and get all the wealth, because all the girls wanted him. Who can understand Krishna's mentality and activities? Who can judge? Krishna's devotees are very, very rare that they understand that Krishna is the supreme guru by speaking the absolute truth to Uddhava, by speaking the yoga system to Arjun, but at the same time, his activities, they are, Brahma said that, Krishna, why you decided to have affair with married women in Vrindavan? This is so embarrassing. But the point is, Krishna is thinking about how to give pleasure and emotions to the living entities in a loving relationship. And what does it mean to make it difficult, to make it excited? This is parakia. Parakia bhave jaha brajete prachar. This is the song of Krishnadas Kaviraj. Parakia bhave jaha brajete prachar. a pregação, the preaching of Vraja, Vrindavan, Brajate Prachar, the preaching of Vrindavan is Parakya. And what does it mean, Parakya Ras? Means lover. It doesn't mean you get married, you are normal person, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't. You know, I'm reading Gopala Champa, that's all Krishna Lila in details. And even Vrinda Devi, only Purnamasi, that Yoga Maya personified in charge for the pastimes. Only Purnamasi was understanding what will happen in the Lila. And she was cooling down everybody. But everybody was just freaking out. Because like, no, they cannot get married. They love Krishna. How this pastime will happen if they are getting married? It will spoil everything. Please do something about it. Vrinda Devi, everybody was freaking out. But she said, no, be careful. We have a plan. Please cool down. Everything will be okay. It should be like that. This Lila should be like that. I said, no, but this is a dharma. This cannot be done like that. No. The gopis will have two bodies. One body will stay with the husband, and another body, the real gopis, they were going with Krishna. This is what will happen. This is Purnamasi explaining how the rasa dance will happen without spoiling Radharani and all the gopis' reputation. But you know, like Parakya, there is much more emotion, and in Parakya than just get married. So Krishna wants to give emotion of Parakya to the gopis. Then he did Parakya Rasa. If it's correct or not, what people will think, what people will say about me, I don't care. He's independent. It's something that we have to acknowledge and understand that something like that is happening in the Lila and why it's happening. Otherwise, we just don't want to talk about that, or you get confused about that, but we have to understand the point there is just the feelings between Krishna and the living entities. They are enjoying the maximum of their emotions, the maximum of the desires, you know, like the perfect lover. The perfect lover is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is what is happening there in Vrindavana, in Parakya Bhava. Parakya Bhavejaha Brajete Prachar. Who can understand? I invite all of you, to come to Vrindavana Dham and go to Vraja Mandala Parikrama, at least for some days, and listen to these pastimes from Lokanatha Maharaj, you know, Radharaman Swami, and many other devotees. It's an amazing experience. I had been there 5 years, walking Vrindavana during Kartika, and it's just like incredible. So when you come to India, please make a plan to go to Vrindavana and do the Vraja Mandala Parikrama. And there you will hear all these amazing Leelas. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Questions, comments?
Okay, thank you very much, Mother Kishore. That was a beautiful, nice one. And what a beautiful way to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, good. So we thank you very much for the beautiful class. It's very nice relating the pastime. Actually, for me, it's interesting to remember the way the previous devotees, especially during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, had to suffer the effects of the caste system in India. That was really actually sometimes something to think about. You know, the caste system was such a very big challenge. So I think I like that aspect of it, and you're explaining that.
Oh, we don't talk about that, but this is very, very serious and very extremely present. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was preaching in a place completely colonized by Muslims. This is what will happen. This is this time. And this was happening around him, you know. So we have to understand, because sometimes we think, oh, this is another time, this is different time. No, all challenging times. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time was very, very challenged, for
Thank you.
traveling, for everything.
Okay, dear devotees, it's time for question and answers. Please kindly indicate by using the hand emoji to raise a question. If you have any question. But meanwhile, what are you talking about? Still talking about the caste system. Then it was very clear, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and the environment was such that there was a regulation, some kind of. But in today's world, even though there is a freedom of religious expression, but it's difficult to find the living entities attracted to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In that time, the problem was that the Muslim community, can you hear me clearly?
Now I can.
Okay. I said then the challenge was that the Muslim community was so dominant in India, and because of the influence of the caste system, there was so much of challenge. But in today's world, there is not much of caste challenge. All over the world, you can freely practice your religion. But yet, there is this present problem of people not interested in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching.
You're
So
talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's times?
Yeah.
It was a civil revolution. Not everybody was prepared. There was so much judgment too. Like, what are you doing? Are you Hindu or what? Why you are dancing and chanting on the streets? It was very new process. People didn't understand. He was misunderstood. You know what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said? He said that you ask a preacher, how are you? You ask a preacher, how are you? He would say, the preacher, neglected, misunderstood, and neglected, misunderstood, and persecuted. So, this situation, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was misunderstood because the Hindus, they didn't like it, the way he was doing things. They were laughing, or, you know, like, what are you doing? What is this? Why you should chant on the streets? Why you're chanting the streets? Why this chanting all the time? You're not reading Vedanta. You are not. What's the conclusion of the Shastras? This is a very serious thing. Very serious. We have to remember that, you know, like we have to analyze like more deeply what is really going on. So then we don't take for granted our freedom to express our worship, the process that we are following, our religion, the chanting, and be understood. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that time, it was very difficult. Yeah, there were many devotees, followers, thousands of people. They were impressed by his beauty. They were impressed by, he was impressing everybody because he's God. So he knew what to do. But actually, you know, there was pressure around all this. And some people, they just can't stand that Krishna is the supreme. Like, Krishna can't be the supreme because of the Gopis Lila and Rasa dance, all those things. But at the same time, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, so how can you explain? And Srila Jiva Goswami, he was saying, you want to understand God with your material intelligence? So Jiva Goswami is the best of the philosophers. So he's telling, do you want to understand God with your material intelligence? If you can understand God with your material intelligence, then he is not God. Because God cannot be understood. He is a chintya, beyond intelligence. That's Jiva Goswami. So you want to put Krishna pastimes and his personality in order he did in your pot or research and give a rate, a conclusion about, yeah, I vote that Krishna. Who are you to do that? Who are you? So all these challenges, was there, were there, and it's still here, but there was worst that time.
Thank you. There is no hand up yet, so maybe I'll have the second question while we wait for the devotees. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained that the sages, they were not happy hearing how the Lord causes the yadus to kill themselves on the influence of alcohol. So my question is, in our time, how do we understand the activities of Lord? Because ultimately, the Lord was arranging the yadus to live based on his plan. So how do we understand the plan of the Lord when we're going through adversaries in our devotional life? In our devotional life, there are so many challenges. So how do we know the Lord's plan, or whether we're suffering from our karma as a result of our past karma, or the Lord's activities or Lord's plan in our devotional life? How do we know the difference?
Your question is how to understand the plans of the Lord in our lives.
Exactly.
I'll give you an answer based in my own experience. What?
Okay, your voice is going a little bit low.
Sorry?
I said your voice is a little bit low now. Your voice.
Oh, my voice is low now. How is that? Haribo, 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 Haribo.
It's
Haribo.
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, Matthew. Okay, go ahead. Maybe
it's now network. Better. Oh, now it's better. It's better?
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I'm hearing better now. Haribo, Haribo. Okay. So, just a second. Okay, now it's better?
Yeah, it's better. Okay, go ahead.
Haribo. Okay. I'll give you an answer based in my experience. Well, many times devotees are, I think, misusing this kind of thought that Krishna is ruling my life. I think we are not so pure to think that Krishna is taking care of us personally like that. You understand? So I have a point in this. I'll give you an example. Let's suppose that 5 years before I make a decision of not do any financial plan in my life. Let's suppose. You understand? Like 5 years before, from 5 years before in the past. Instead of make a decision of do some financial planning, like, get a good business or a good job, study and endeavor myself, I just don't do it, because I'm lazy. And I tell that, oh, Krishna is taking care of everything. And then I don't do my part. After 5 years, I'm bankrupt. I'm in misery. I have no money for health care. And then we say, Krishna's grace. Krishna is showing me, blah, 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 blah. But actually, you took bad decisions. You're not taking care. You're not taking care of your financial life. Your japa is your japa. And then your financial life is your financial life. If you don't take care of that, who will take care of that? You have to take decision upon your life, upon the life of your family, upon the life of your kids. This is an example. And then after 5 years, you have a consequence of your decisions that you made 5 years before. And then you say, it's Krishna's grace. Everything. Everything is Krishna's grace. If you take good decisions, you make a financial plan, you work nicely, you think about protecting your family, you put the money in the bank, it's also Krishna's grace. And if you do bad decisions about your financial life, about your future, about your health care, it is also Krishna's grace that you get the result of your bad decisions. So, a devotee has a grateful heart. So even if they endeavor to do what they do and they get success by doing things, they say, this is all by Krishna's grace, because they have a grateful heart and they know that Krishna is the source of everything, source of intelligence, source of wealth, source of inspiration. Everything comes from Krishna. So he has Krishna in his heart and he thinks about Krishna as his best friend. Krishna's lila instructions, Krishna's everything is his inspiration. These are devotees' inspiration because we are devotees of Krishna. But you have to take it. It doesn't take from you your responsibility upon your life and upon your family, as a father, as a mother, and even a son and daughter. So let's suppose, and people have phases in life. Even Prabhupada was speaking about that. So let's suppose that the person is 18 years old, 19 years old, 20, 24 years old. What he has to do in that time? He has to study. Or maybe he spent some time in Brahmachari Ashrama, maximum 2-3 years, and then, because this is a good base for everything, and then go to studies, go to the college to have a good profession for the life to be sustainable. This is their responsibility. If they get distracted doing things that they shouldn't be done in that age, they will suffer after that. And then if your life is economically unstable, you have nowhere to live, you have no income, you have no food, everything is unstable, everything is shattering around you, don't tell me, be honest, don't tell me that your japa will be good, that your reading will be good. Don't tell me this, because this is not possible. So those, nowadays, I'm in ISKCON 32 years, nowadays that I met Prabhupada disciples, that they had the proper life, good jobs, and they took care of their families. They are having a very good time right now with their japas, with their friends, with traveling, very peaceful. They are preparing, they are reading, they are all okay. Duty is duty. You can get free from duty. And if you are not a sannyasi, you have to work. And if you have to work, work properly, work nice, get maximum as you can. Prabhupada said that to Jayananda. Get the best job. Get the best job and use everything in Krishna's service. What does it mean? It means that you put your money in the ISKCON bank account, in the ISKCON president's bank account, coordinators. No. It means that the money is in your account. And there you use for your safety. Even the Rupa and Sanatana Goswami got 25% of their wealth for emergencies. So you keep your money, you keep there knowing that you need health care, you may need a surgery, you may cannot work, and then for you to have a peaceful life, you put the money there. And if you get success, this is all Krishna's grace, always. But it doesn't stop you or deprive you to use your intelligence. Don't renounce your intelligence. This is ridiculous. And then put somebody else responsible from your bad decisions in your life. This is this person's fault, that person's fault, because the philosopher said that. No. One thing is you wake up in the morning, you have your japa, you have your sadhana, you eat prasada, you cook, you give charity, you read shastra, you serve the mission as much as you can. One is that. Another thing, and you'll be responsible for your life. And then, but now, how much Krishna is involved? Well, Krishna is also everywhere all the time, and Krishna is in these holy names, isn't it? Krishna is the holy name. You chant the holy name, and you have connection, and you are with devotees, and you have that. And then when you are working, when you are taking decisions about your kids' education, you have to take decision about your kids' education, isn't it? Where they're going to study, how much it costs. That should be proper decisions about investment, proper decision about investment, isn't it? About the future. You need health care. Who will pay for your health care? You take decision 10 years before how that will be, so they can you chant your japa properly when you are old. So things that we have to think. Okay, that is, sorry, Kavi Karnapur Prabhu.
Yes, Kavi Karnapur Prabhu, please kindly unmute yourself.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for your wonderful answer to Prabhu's question. It's very inspiring, Yeah, I'm very practical. Mataji, I have a very quick question. ISKCON as an organization has passed through many phases. Although the early phase of ISKCON was more of like a kind of a soldier life, where many of the devotees were encouraged to surrender. Even some of them were grihastas. That time Prabhupada needed missionary people, those who are ready to just dedicate their life for the movement. And many of them did that. But now, reality is already telling on us, and people already understanding that, oh, come here. Yeah, we are missionaries movement, but we have to have a stable life now. And that's what's brought about this, your question you are giving today, that people have to live a stable life if you are not a sciencey. You have to have a stable life, you have to have good education, you have to, take care of your family, you have to plan for your future. This is another stage of the organization. So my question is that, who is going to take responsibility for those early devotees who were told by the pure devotees, by the acharya, that they should give up everything? And many of them, they're having challenges today. Who is going to take responsibility? Is it Krishna? Is it Prabhupada? Is it the devotee themselves? This is my question.
Actually, Kavi Karnapur's question is very, is a fashion. Everybody's asking, who is helping or who will help these people? And you know what? In the Bhagavatam says that those who accept the Sankirtan movement, they are Sumeda Saha. Meda means intelligence, and Sumeda Saha, Su is superlative, and Su means super intelligent. So anyone who is attracted to this movement and accepts Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and Prabhupada's teachings, they're very intelligent. So there is no way to cheat these people. So it's a very, how can I say, proper question. So let me start from the beginning. Kavi Karnapur is not about phases of ISKCON. It's just some mistake that people commit in one society. Let me tell you, there are no mistakes in the books, because the books coming from the Parampara, it's a 5,000 years philosophy. So philosophy is one thing. Philosophy, the system is made by Rupa, Sanatana Goswami, all the Goswamis, very intelligent people, very proper. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructions, Prabhupada's instructions, they are all perfect. You understand? So this is one thing. This is the mission, and this is the process. In another side, another track, Then you have an institution. In institution, it's like a bank or corporation, a church, organized and by people, and people commit mistakes. They misjudge, they misunderstanding, they do some bad application, they say things that's not true. You are telling is a phase that you have to surrender. Surrender means what exactly? Surrender depends on the 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. What is surrender for a brahmachari? What is surrender for a Grihastha? With kids, wife, a house, mortgage to pay, rent. What is surrender? What does it mean surrender for a Grihastha? What it means surrender for a Vanaprastha? And what does it mean surrender for a sannyasi? So the point is, many times these instructions about how to surrender are not for families. They are for brahmacharis and sannyasis. So we shouldn't be confused. We should remember that Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 11 kids and he never left his job. He retired in the end, but he never left his job to just to preach. He was preaching and he was having a job at the same time. This is who? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Let's talk about Prabhupada. 21 years old, he was married. His guru told him, let's go and preach. And he thought, I am married, I cannot do this right now. 22 years old. He never left his wife to preach for 50 years. He got 5 kids, he got business, he got many things to do. So that's what Prabhupada did with his life. But Bhaktivinoda Saraswati, he was a brahmachari for the whole life. So you have your ashram, and inside your ashram, you have your duty to do, and then there you do what you have to do. Means the grihastha should give what? Charity. But if you don't have nothing, even for your family, how can you give charity? How can you give charity if you don't have anything? And why you don't have anything? Because you don't work properly. You don't know how to work. You don't know how to make money. You think that making money is Maya, that you are in Maya if you have a good job, if you are rich, if you dedicate yourself, then you are in Maya, you are attached to the material world, you stay in the samsara forever. That's completely wrong. This is completely wrong. This is not truth at all. It's just easy to have brahmacharis that giving free service. That's much easier to manage like that than manage people that they are independent and have their own life. So, if you want to be a brahmachari, great, be a brahmachari. And when you are not a brahmachari and you are a grihastha, then you have to understand how to rule your life. Means money, family, investments, career, that you have to do. Do your best, become the best version of yourself, and tell the whole world, I am a Prabhupada's follower. Like Jai Shetty, like many people very successful that they are devotees, they are disciples, they chant their japa, and they're very successful. They did the best to succeed in their projects, and this is great. They're helping other people. Okay, so surrender means is different from different ashrams. That we have to understand. For a brahmachari, put money in their pockets is completely wrong and is Maya. But if a grihastha think that they have to give their salary to ISKCON, they're completely crazy. Yeah, they're crazy. They cannot do that. So these 2 things, how you deal with money in sannyasi ashrama, How you deal with money in Grihastha ashram? And this is our confusion, and we have to clarify that to everyone. Don't do that.
So I have a follow-up question.
Yes. Sorry?
Yeah, I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Yeah, so very nice answer. I really appreciate it, madam. My question is that, like you said, surrender means different thing in different ashrama, the brahmachari, grihastha. Number one is that, what about those grihasthas? Because grihasthas are going to be two different, they're going to be different grihasthas. There are some grihasthas who are brahmanical in nature, who like to do pujari work, who like to offer arati, who like to stay in the temple. What is going to be their future? That is number one. And then there's another one also. There is you said that brahmachari and the sannyasi are not supposed to keep money, but we see that today these people, they keep money, so much money, you know? So what do you think about that?
Okay. Two questions. No, the last one about brahmacharis or sannyasis keeping money. The brahmanas are allowed to get donations, and then they have to distribute these donations, but they cannot keep money in bank accounts. They accept donations and they give to the treasury, and the treasury will distribute this donation. But if a sannyasi is keeping a bank account with his own money, that's completely wrong. Completely wrong. And I can't say anything else. It's just somebody is doing something wrong. Yeah. Radhanatha Swami said, brahmachari means no pocket. That Radhanath Swami said. So if a person is dressing saffron, but is keeping a bank account, he is not a brahmachari, he is a cheater. And a sannyasi, same. So this is the point, that we shouldn't be fanatics. We should understand our philosophy. And of course, somebody's doing something very wrong. And if you have a position to say, look, Maharaj, look, Prabhu, this is not correct, then you say, if it's not, you don't. But you know for sure that if a brahmachari or a sannyasi is they're keeping bank account, this is wrong. That we have to understand based on our philosophy, based on our books, means we are intelligent, not fanatics. You understand what I mean? Okay. And then the first, you said about the grihastha. The grihasthas, they have families, but they want to do deity worship. Okay. So this deity worship that they are doing is giving some money, maintenance and money from their families. Yes or not? Because, you know, like the life is hard. So if you want to have sex life, if you want to have your own house, if you want to have own kids, as a man, you have to provide. You have to provide the best way. Maybe the best way is not doing deity worship. I don't know how much they are paying. You understand? So, but if one person makes such decision and the wife accepts to live in a very difficult way, this is their dealings. We can't say, you know, what's wrong, what's right, because depend on them. The best is that you take care properly and nice of your family, that you have reserves, that you have a proper everything. But if your wife accepts to live with the minimum and then, you know, live a life like that, what they have to do? But we have to be intelligent and understand, now I have to do that. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Do you think that somebody who is doing their duty are in Maya? They are not. This is very interesting. By doing the duty, somebody will understand how material world is horrible. All the dealings, all the complications of the government, the life is so hard and complicated. So that will make you longing for Krishna, longing and understand the power of the holy name, understand the importance of the holy name in your life. You want to surrender to the holy name, because Maya, the word of Maya that you are now understanding by working outside and working situations that you don't like, you are tired or have problems, and you understand, wow, material world is so messed up. I really don't want material world. So detachment is something that happens from inside by being honest, doing your duty. Detachment is not something that you put a cloth and show off that I am detached. This is not detachment. Detachment is a deep, deep understanding in the heart that is happening by doing your duty in your varna. You follow that, and it's called self-realization. Self-realization. Nothing to do with some, how can I say, some disguised. You put saffron, but actually you just take advantage of the facility of and live a lazy life. This is not, of course, nobody can achieve anything living a lie, not being honest. It does not achieve anything like that. And this is our Shastras. And you go there in the Shastra, you see that. You go to Uddhava Gita, you go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, you go everywhere, you can see this. So there is somebody, Srimad Paraha Acharya Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tiji, for that beautiful response to the question. So, His Grace Srimad Paraha Acharya Prabhu, please can you unmute and ask a question or comment, make a comment. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to all devotees on the platform. I think you are leaving something unanswered from the question of Kavika Napura. You have not described the situation of the brahmacharis. Now, let me let you know what I want you to explain. Brahmachari, it's not that once you're brahmachari, you're going to be brahmachari for life. They have a choice. That's one. Two, the brahmacharis who come to the movement and serve as brahmachari, I mean, it's not like they were born into it being brahmachari. I mean, they left something to come and serve the mission as brahmachari. Either they left their material education, either they left something. They just did it. They were not just brought up as a brahmachari. They decided to come and work for the mission. So what happens to these people? Like Kavika Napura is mentioning, many people served as brahmachari, and later on they decide to marry, and they have then they're still in ISKCON. So what happened? They have to go look for a job. They've used all their youths, all their strength, distributing books, going on Arinam, helping the mission to expand. And then now, when they need to settle down and be stable, you say, go out and look for a job. He has already used all his strength in working for the mission. Can you explain that?
Yes, of course. Prabhuji, I spoke here before that life, there are phases, and we have to pay attention on that. I got married when I was 25 years old. Then I had kids, and this is very important. I cannot get married and have kids with 40 years old. So we should be, knowledge is for making us stable, is for making us balanced, not to make us crazy. So why a person is staying the brahmachari ashram for 10 years without any plan? So it means, I know many brahmacharis, they stay maximum they can, holding. Prabhuji, to all of you, please, this is not about how much you can hold your sexual drive, for God's sake. This is about love of God process. This is about chanting. This is about the mission. This is not about how much I hold my celibacy and have this prestige that I'm 15 years in saffron. And then because you did that decision, now you are in trouble with 40 years old. Because sorry to say, Prabhuji, nobody put a gun in these people's head and told them to keep the saffron. They took bad decisions, and now there is a consequence for their bad decisions. So this is the reason, Shriman Prabhu, that we have our elders, we have to help these people not to take this decision. Because if they take this decision, as you said, Shriman Prabhu, they will now be looking for jobs 40 years old. In Brazil, one engineer of a big company, a devotee, I know him very well, a very amazing brahmachari. He was in brahmachari ashram for 20 years. He left, he was 40. He has to go back to college, finish engineer, and then he got a big job in a government company. He's very Krishna conscious. He gives class. He's very good, you know, but he had to do that. So the point is, the brahmachari has to understand, I am 30 years old. I'm not thinking I'm going directly here to vanaprastha and sannyasi. So I have to leave, and then 28 years old, I have to look for a job, I had to look for a wife, and I had to set up. I had to say that's what they have to do. But if you are telling me, Nitya Kishore, I think that they gave so much to ISKCON, and now ISKCON could help them to set. And let me tell you something, I agree with that. I agree that ISKCON should help, support, have funds to these people, but they don't have. So if they don't have, be careful what decisions you are making, because decisions that you are making in your life will have a consequence.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for this beautiful answer to this question. Actually, this is a very big one because most part of the world, most of these devotees that is in the category of this discussion never took those decisions by themselves. Most of the time were misguided by the so-called leaders at that time because they were looking for people to assist in doing some things. But I think there are two hands up, so I'll let them, maybe I'm sure they also have some contribution in the follow-up to this question. So Sade, please can you unmute yourself? Let's hear what your comment or question is.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me?
Clearly,
yes, I can.
We can hear you clearly.
Hey, Madam Nitya Kishore, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sorry I will not be able to turn on my video, but I've been listening to you. I'm a little busy. I have to travel, so I couldn't participate fully as usual. Okay, but thank you. Thank you so much for the class. And I just wanted to say something little to the answer you just gave to Srimad Varaha Prabhu, because you were saying that ISKCON should try to help devotees like that, devotees who dedicated their youthful days to serving the mission. And now in their advanced stage, they could not continue with the brahmacharya ashram. They have to marry, start a family at a very old age or advanced age. But the truth of the matter is ISKCON is not in the position to help such people. And so you are encouraging and advising us that we should actually plan. We should not just act whimsically. And this is why I raised my hand, because I have also heard His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj said this a couple of times, because Radhanath Maharaj has so many brahmachari disciples. And he told his disciples, if you are not planning to take sannyas, then make up your mind to becoming a grihastha, find a job. So that is part of the decision making. Sometimes we make wrong decisions and we blame somebody else. But unfortunately for some of us, we did not even have the mind of thinking for ourselves. We were just following. Of course, there is that it's not all in vain, because those early devotees did some service, but henceforth, I think we can all learn from our mistakes, that we don't repeat such mistakes. So thank you so much for giving us this very, very important information. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sahadev. Yes, he is telling that sometimes people cannot think by themselves. Yes, so the brahmachari ashram should have structure enough to be so kind to advise and guide those people. Like Radhanath Swami said, if you think you are not going to Vanaprastha Sannyasi, make up your mind, become a grihastha. So he has excellent grihasthas. I speak sometimes with people from Chowpatty, some interaction that we have for some service, and they tell me, oh, so what's your background? Oh, I was a brahmachari in the temple for this much years, and then I got married, now I have this job, blah, 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 blah. So, because, it's not like that brahmachari ashrama shouldn't exist. Brahmachari ashrama is excellent for the man. Brahmacharini ashrama is excellent for the woman. It's a great experience, just not having anything, just Krishna in the festivals and the books and the service. It's amazing, but for how long? For how long? Not so many years that will mess up your future. It's for helping you, not to mess up you. So it's clear that we have to take good decisions, and the leadership, of course, should be more aware of the needs of the brahmacharis and help them to take decisions earlier in life. Okay? Hari Chakra.
Hari Chakra, Prabhu, please can you unmute and ask your comment or question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for your class. But about the question that Bharat Prabhu asked, I'm a little bit confused, because I understand that previously, I mean, when we joined this movement, like me, I want to use myself as an example. I was just about to go to college, and I met my spiritual master, and he told me I should preach for Prabhupada. So I stopped going to college and preach. And I was in the system. I was living in the temple. I became a grihastha in the temple. We were not earning any income. We went through struggles together. But at a certain point in time, the same spiritual master told me that I could send my kids to school. I should make sure I give them proper education. And when I came to the US for the first time, I told my spiritual master that I borrowed money to come here. He said, go and work. Go out there, work, make some money, pay your debts, and come back. So he relieved me from the temple. I went to work for 3 months. I made enough money. I paid all the debt that I need to pay. And when I came back, he said, it's good. It's good that you've come, but you can still continue to work and still do service for Krishna. And that is what I've been doing till today. I'm working, making money for myself, and I still live in the temple. I still I don't live like directly in the temple. I have my own place, but I do complete service in the temple. So my question is, previously during the what do we call it? The pioneering times, some people sacrificed their entire life as pioneers. But here today, I know the pioneering work is almost over. Now we are going to another phase in our movement. Now, the question of brahmachari, being a brahmachari, I want proper interpretation of being a brahmachari. It's a brahmachari, someone who has stayed in the temple, not married in the temple, or if even you live outside of your of the temple and you are not married and you are practicing seriously, but you are not married, are you still considered to be a brahmachari or not? And if you are, does that mean you cannot make money for yourself simply because you are not married and you are living like a celibate life in outside of the temple? You can't make money because the name, you have that name brahmachari. So I want some clarification, because I think I heard you say that a brahmachari that has a bank account, then you are not a brahmachari. So what about that person? He's a brahmachari, he's not married. He doesn't live directly in the temple. He lives outside the temple. He's a celibate. He gives service he renders some service to the temple. Can't he keep bank account? Because if he has to make plans for his future, if he is not making money now and keeping bank account, what is going to help him to marry?
Harichakra Prabhu, for God's sake, what's this question? Prabhu, it's so easy to put white. It's so difficult to put white. Why they are so attached? Brahmachari means no pocket. Brahmachari means obedience. Brahmachari means renunciation. If you don't want to do that, you have to have the comfort of your house. You live by yourself. You have money. Why you keep saffron clothes? It's wrong. Of course it's wrong. Of course it's cheating. There is no doubt about that. No doubt. But you know, who can stop you if you want to cheat? Who can stop you? That's my question also. Somebody's cheating and want to cheat. And then what I can do, Nitya Kishore can do about that? Hare Krishna Prabhu, how are you? I am fine, thank you. Bye. I'm not go to him and say, look, put white. What you are doing is wrong. But we, as a speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, you people as devotees should know that brahmachari means obedience. Brahmachari means renunciation. Brahmachari means no pocket. Oh no, I have to making money because in the future I want to get married. Then immediately you have to put white. It means you are honest. Means you are honest. Okay, first thing about the brahmachari. Second thing about the grihasta who is working for the temple. Prabhu, I don't know how many kids you have. I don't know if your wife what she thinks, but one thing is truth. If you don't make your financial plan, if you don't save money, if you don't have enough money, and you are keeping working for the temple, and then the temple, we know, will not support you. And if you are making that decision, your decision will give you consequences. And these consequences means that you will be in anxiety. So now you cannot say that Krishna is not warning you. Because this Bhagavatam class right now is Krishna's warning to you. You know, or for anyone. Because this is how Krishna gives you instruction through the devotees. I can't say things against the Shastra. It doesn't matter who is the guru, who said what. It doesn't matter. But if you tell me that a grihasta is not doing the economic development, his wife is not safe, the kids are not safe, I should say, oh, it's okay because Krishna will take care of you. Krishna is always taking care of you. You put the money in the bank, Krishna is taking care of you. And this money for the future of your kids, for the comfort of your wife, for for you to be responsible for your own life. This is what a grihasta have to do. Grihasta have to give charity, not live on charity. This is wrong. This is our Shastra or is not? What does it mean? What's the duty of the grihasta? Give charity. Why? Because he's making money. Yeah, this is the reason. No, I'm not making money. So then you are not doing your duty.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
I should say to you the truth. What should I say? I should say something political correct? No. I should say something that will help for your self-realization. And now in your life, you have a duty, is to keep your family the best way possible. Go back to the college, get your things done in your hand. It's your responsibility. And you can tell anyone, sorry, Guru Maharaj, I have a family. I want to keep my wife and my family safe. I have no house. I have no money in the bank. If any emergency, what will happen to me? Oh, Krishna is taking care of you. Yes, by telling you to go and work.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I think my question did not go through properly.
Okay.
Because what I'm saying is that, like here, even here in the US, there are some temples that are completely being manned by grihastas. It's grihastas who actually man the temple, right? They go to their work, but all the full-time service in the temple is being performed by these grihastas. And they are making it. It's not that they are suffering, they are making it. It's not the temple that is taking care of them. They are taking care of the temple, but they are working. So what I'm saying is that, well, about the brahmachari thing that we are talking, maybe sometimes we try to implement, sometimes when we talk, we try to implement what the Shastras are saying about brahmacharis who used to live in ashrams and bringing it to our system now. But I think our system now is in a different phase, where people can live in their homes and still devote their time for the temple, and at the same time be able to make money for themselves. So if a brahmachari doesn't display himself like that, like if the person is not wearing saffron and there is a lady in the temple who wants somebody to marry, how is he going to detect that, oh, this one is free man, so I can lay my hands on?
I think
so.
Okay, go ahead.
Hari Chakra Prabhu. Hari Chakra Prabhu. This is a Bhagavatam class.
Yeah.
So I can't say things that is against the Shastras. Another phase doesn't exist. Brahmachari means he lives in the ashram under the care of the spiritual master. And he's very happy because this is his nature. When he's not comfortable living a renounced life, he just go outside and be honest. Just like that, very simple. The grihastas you are telling, if their life is taken care of, if their life, let's suppose not every grihasta needs to get a job. Maybe they have a business. Maybe they have heritage. You don't know that. If their families are safe and they do service, this is incredible. This is what we want. But his duty is taken care of. He's not neglecting his family in the name of devotional service. And I give you an example. What happened in France when the Mataji wants to leave her child to take care of the deity? What Srila Prabhupada said, it was very important for us. Prabhupada said, your deity is your kid. This is what Prabhupada said. And then we say, oh, this is all material attachment, because we are stupid. We don't understand what Prabhupada is saying. Your kid should be taken care of, and is most important than the deity for you right now as a mother. Leave everything, take care of your kid. Duty is duty. Will make you self-realized, not a fanatic failure. If you don't do your duty, you'll be a fanatic failure. You'll be unhappy. something will miss. You'll be messed up. Do your duty, you'll be peaceful. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's difficult, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, every action in this world is covered with some smoke. Yeah, this is like that. Your duty may be imperfect, but do it.
No.
Do your duty.
So my other question is that during the Vedic times, like you said, we are talking Bhagavatam now. Yeah, sure, we are talking Bhagavatam now. So during the Vedic times, when we talk about ashram, those who lived in the ashram, apart from the Guru Ma who lived in the ashram, were ladies also as living in the ashram as brahmacharinis?
Yes. Haribo.
Haribo. Yeah, I'm listening to you.
No, I didn't hear your last.
He is asking that in the Vedic times, where the Matajis, the female aspirant or whatever, do they live in the ashram of the Guru?
No, not for women. Ashrama for ladies was created by Prabhupada because he saw that the ladies, they couldn't have spiritual education inside the home. So he gave them opportunity to come and live in the temple in ashramas, but it didn't exist. The ladies were taken care of by their parents at home. You know, even in India, ladies don't go to any ashram. You know, they are taken care of in their houses. But in the West is different. I think it was a very intelligent move that Prabhupada did by giving the ladies also opportunities to experience such life. Because in the West, women are different. Okay? So this Prabhu Sriman Varahacharya, he wants to make some question. Prabhu, please make sure that he can do. Prabhuji, can you, Sriman Varahacharya Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
I'm still on the question Kavikanapura Prabhu asked.
Yes, Prabhu.
He was saying that those who sacrificed their life in the pioneering stage, who lived as brahmachari till old age, and now they're struggling. And he asked the question, who takes care of them? So, I mean, I know that you could not take briefing for ISKCON, and but we must admit that what you're saying now has never been like that originally. Even when Prabhupada was there, people came, renounced, surrendered their life, gave up everything they had, and they worked for the mission till old age before they had to start struggling for themselves. This is a fact history of ISKCON. We cannot brush it aside. We cannot sweep it under the carpet. It did happen. I don't know. I mean, you said you were 20 years, you married. Maybe most ISKCON temples developed the way Kavikanapura was explaining. And it's a fact. It's an history that we cannot brush aside. So even if ISKCON is not accepting, you are not holding brief for ISKCON. So even if ISKCON is not accepting that it is their responsibility, that's okay. Krishna is taking care of them. So that's one part. I just want us to admit that whether it is a mistake or not, it did happen. And even in some places, it's still happening. Radhana Maharaj Chopati experience is a different kind of setup, which ISKCON in general is learning from. It was not ISKCON style from the beginning. It may not be Shastric, like you said, but it did happen. It did happen.
Yes,
so
Prabhu.
that's just one
so
side.
What's your point?
I'm just saying that we cannot brush that under the carpet. It's a fact of history for ISKCON.
Of course, but what's your point?
Okay. The point is that he asked you the question, who takes care of them?
Oh, so that's your question. Is that your question?
No, that's one. That's one of my questions. Now, the second question is, I mean, some devotees in their comment are saying that our pioneering stage is phasing out. I don't believe that.
Sorry, Prabhu?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I'm saying some devotees in their comments, they did say that our pioneering stage is phasing out. And I say, I don't believe that. And I don't agree with that.
Our what?
Pioneering, they are pioneering stage. The beginning, the pioneering, that is the beginning stage of pioneering.
What is pioneering?
You know, in the beginning, in the beginning days, the excuse, let me use the word excuse, was that beginning is always a struggle. Things are not normal. So we have to take a lot of austerity. We have to take a lot of sacrifices. We have to do things abnormally. So those stages
it's not even abnormal. It's not even abnormal. Let me come in. I hope she has gotten. You've gotten the point. Pioneering stage.
That's why I'm using those words. So,
I hope she's. I hope she's gotten it.
Pioneering. Understood. Yes, pioneering.
She has gotten it.
So now she's got it. Now I'm saying that this stage is not over, and it should never be over. If you become big as a business, then you apply the same principle for starting to start other centers. It's not that because you become big now, so those principles that help you to develop, you cannot use it again. So we're still going. Prabhupada, ISKCON is supposed to be in every town and village. No, we are not in every town and village. We are in many countries, but we are not in every town and village. We are not even in every country. In West Africa, there are 16 countries. We are struggling to maintain temple in 4 only. And there are so many other countries. We have not even started. So to say that our pioneering stage is over, I do not accept. But I would like to understand. I would like to learn how we will be able to get people to serve the mission, and at the same time, let them be able to use their energy for Krishna. One point that you have to answer right now, Mataji, because I know that this is becoming a principle in many parts of the world now in ISKCON. They are paying devotees salary. We learned from the beginning, Prabhupada said, you cannot pay people salary for doing deity worship. Prabhupada did not establish system of salary. This has just become a system right now because they found out the mistakes in the past. So does it become official right now that if anybody wants to join the temple and serve, that we have to establish salary? Or at what point you say that somebody has come, now you help him to make decision. Now you start preaching to people. When you become brahmachari, it's only for a while. No, please, let us, the ISKCON hasn't made rules about these things. A lot of things are still happening, my guru used to say, trial and error. But you are in Mayapur, and the situation in Mayapur is different. But if we have to continue establishing temples, those old systems, the way Prabhupada started it, we cannot give it up. Unless ISKCON is saying that now we have to pay salary to those who come as volunteers. And that has never been Prabhupada principle. So you have to clear this point, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Prabhu, a person is individual and responsible for their own lives. This is our point here. You understand? So if there is a pioneer service to do, open temples in places there are no temples, you have to understand that if you have a call in your heart to do that, and after, if you became neglected by the leadership, you can't complain. This is my point. The same thing. The decision you make as an adult, you have to accept the consequences. Let's suppose you do a great job. Maybe you're not recognized. Maybe when you are old, nobody will help you. And then you have your decision to be a pioneer, and then the neglection, you have to live with that. If you are a real Brahmana, a real renounced person, you will not complain about that. This is a very important point. As an adult, you have to know what you are doing. So, Prabhu, many people nowadays are not willing to make such decisions because they cannot bear the consequences. The consequences will make them depressed, will make them miserable, will make them sad. And then this is not my service as a mother and or also a devotee, because I have no position in ISKCON right now as a manager. So ISKCON has a body, it's called GBC. They have representatives in each country. These leaders, they should give solution for the managerial problems of ISKCON. And managerial problems means, people are not inspired to worship the deities. Or they don't have time. They prefer to work and maintain somebody. Give donation to somebody who is doing deity worship. You can say donation, or you can say maintenance, or you can say salary. It's just donation for somebody who is willing to do some work that another people are not doing, so they're giving charity. They should be helped. It's just like compassion, it's understanding. I want to do that, I need some money, you help me, I do this for you. Simple like that. Don't make this a big deal, that is the salary, nobody should have salary, you know. Why? And this is a managerial decision. And the person who is accept the salary or is accepting deity worship, this is their individual choice that has to be respected. And also this place, the congregation is taking a decision, the management is taking a decision. So let them take a decision, and the consequence of their decisions, will be upon them.
Thank you very much, Mataji. This was a beautiful way to answer that question. Actually, I have a comment in that regard. You see, actually, I think this is a very big topic, because actually most of part of the world, especially in West Africa, and I think I want to take it from this point that most of us were naive when we joined the movement. And then it is not anybody's fault that we are naive, because like my Guru Maharaj used to say, for you to endeavor in any part, you need to make inquiries to find out. So we did not do that. With naivety, we came into the movement and we accepted whatever was given to us without knowing what we are going into. So we can't blame anyone in the end, because it was not anybody's fault. As an adult, like you rightly said, we ought to have at least know what we are going into. We ought to have studied the books, know what it entails, and then take our rightful decision. But we didn't do that because we are naive. Naive.
That is not. I'm sorry to cut you short. I'm sorry to cut you short.
I'm giving my opinion. You can comment. Prabhu, just a minute.
No, just 1 minute. Just 1 minute, Prabhu. Prabhu, please allow me. Please.
You comment after I speak.
No. You are saying, you are making general statements.
Let me finish
which
with
are
Mike and
true.
Comment afterwards. Prabhu, what I'm saying is that each and every one of us are individual, like Mataji said. And we all have our individual minds, our individual understanding, our individual experience. And when it comes to the topic about decision-making in our devotional life, it is collective, it is individual. Let me speak for myself, and I have several devotees who share the same opinion, that when we came into the movement, we did not have adequate information, knowledge about what we were going into. And that is nobody's fault. Even though most of the time we try to say that we blame it on ISKCON. Yes, ISKCON leadership might have made a wrong presentation to us, but it is also our fault that we did not make proper inquiries. So we suffer as a result of the decisions.
Yes. It's a good point. You are making a good point. You are putting two weights there.
Exactly.
One is, yes, like this Sriman Varahacharya Prabhu, he said, the first question that he made was, who is taking care of these devotees?
Exactly.
And then he's right. Yes, it should be a system for taking care of these devotees. So there is no system. So once you know there is no system, don't dive, because nobody will catch you in another side.
Let me
It's your responsibility.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mataji. Actually, that is what I'm even coming to. I was asking him to allow me to finish. If you read Fortunate Souls, written by one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, which was under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, Fortunate Souls, when you look at the Fortunate Souls, the guidelines given by Srila Prabhupada for someone joining the movement, it takes his full life to the process of Krishna consciousness without anything outside of it. According to the book Fortunate Soul, which is written by I think Tara Aris, one of Srila Prabhupada's science disciples.
Tamakrishna. It's written by
No, not
Tamakrishna.
No, it's not Tamakrishna that wrote it.
Okay.
Fortunate Souls was not written by Tamakrishna Goswami. It says in that book that such a person should get a life insurance as at that time worth 5 million USD. It is written in Fortunate Souls. I read that book, but that was never practicalized. It was just in writing in a book that was supposed to be the guidelines for recruiting members for ISKCON. So the fact is this, that those who are in leadership made their mistakes. Those who join also make their mistake. But the reality is that whatever mistake that has been done, I like the point where you said ISKCON movement is a movement for developing bhakti, devotion, love. And at the same time, responsibility of the leadership is to see to whatever mistake that has been done, whoever is in leadership should see to how to manage whatever mistake or problems or challenges or difficulties that must have arises as a result of decision that has been taken in the past. And that is my opinion. So, Sima Brother, probably you can speak.
Yes. Shriman Varahacharya Prabhu made a question before, telling who is taking care. So I think it's well exposed, because you can say now about the whole managerial thing, but this is not something, this discussion, this is a Bhagavatam class, and Bhagavatam class is about self-realization. So in self-realization, with a victim card, you cannot go to spiritual world. A victim. If you become a victim, yes, victim card doesn't give you entrance to the spiritual world. Victim card. Please,
yeah, thank you very much.
Get rid of your victim card. You can say, oh, this is wrong. The leadership should take care of the devotees who served. The leadership should guide the brahmacharis like Radhanath Swami is doing. They should. But if they don't, and then where enter your free will to make your wise choices, follow your path, and get the consequences for your choice. You're not a victim. You have free will. It's small, but you have. And this will bring you to the path of self-realization. This is not a political class, but a Bhagavatam class. The goal is self-realization. But then I bring the Bhagavatam to our daily life. That's my proposal. So this is the reason I touch these topics to show, like, look, where we are confusing, thinking that, oh, Krishna, 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 and Krishna is not in the job, Krishna is not in the talent, Krishna is not in the bank account, Krishna is not there, Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is wealth, Krishna is fame, of course, Krishna is talent. You know, it doesn't mean you're so humble, you don't have any skill, you have any talent, you're miserable, is a poverty, and Krishna is there. But Krishna, when you are talent, when you're opulent, when you are successful, Krishna is not there. When there is opulence, Krishna is not there. Only Maya is there. Only the demons can have opulence. Only the demons can have talent. Only those who are in Maya. No, I'm very Krishna conscious. I am very humble. I am miserable. I have no talent. I am a failure. I am poor. Because I'm very humble. I'm very Krishna consciousness. Why we think like that? Why we think so negative? Why you are so negative?
Thank you very much.
My point.
Sriman,
Sahadeva Prabhu. Sahadeva Prabhu.
Mataji, if you don't mind, I think we should allow Sriman Vara Prabhu, because he wanted to speak while I was speaking earlier.
No, no. Sahadeva Prabhu gave the hand first.
Okay, Sahadeva Prabhu, please go ahead and speak.
Please, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the opportunity. The class is quite enlivening because it's a very important topic we are discussing. And if I heard all that has been said right, I think Mother NITYA Kishore did answer Kavi Kanapur Prabhu's question, because she was saying that it is the responsibility of ISKCON to take care of those pioneers who in their advanced age have now become grihastas, unable to do what they used to do. But the ISKCON as an organization is not doing that. And we can practically see it. It's unfortunate that that is the situation. And therefore, that should be a lesson to those who are coming up to make the right decisions. So I think that was answered. And then secondly, if I heard Hari Chakra right, he was also saying that the pioneering spirit is like almost dead, it's no more there. That also does not mean that the pioneering spirit should be killed. The pioneering spirit should be there, but it looks like it's no more there. And we all can see it. And again, many things Srila Prabhupada did in his time cannot be done solely in this movement, because there was another class from Washington, D.C. By one of my god uncles who was preaching. And I asked a question because my Gurudev gave a lecture to assembled gurus. He was actually preaching to his fellow gurus. And he was telling them, the very things Srila Prabhupada established in ISKCON may not be applicable in our time today. So what are we doing? So during Srila Prabhupada's time, the main source of income for ISKCON was book distribution. But now ISKCON has advanced. We have grown bigger. That book distribution alone cannot suffice our expenditure. And so we have to think outside book distribution as to how we're going to make more money to take care of our major projects. That does not also mean that book distribution should be killed. But side by side, we have to do what Srila Prabhupada has given us and also build on it. We cannot just depend on what Srila Prabhupada gave us alone, because that will not help us. So that is all what I wanted to share. But in all, we are all on the same wavelength. We are all talking about the same thing. I do not see any difference. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mother, you want to make a comment on that?
No. It's just affirmation. You're all speaking the same thing. I think it's a balance. What we are saying, it's balance, and we keep us peaceful and happy, that we understand what's happening around us. We don't blame anyone, and our energy is for self-realization, not for found faults and blaming and big controversial things, just like if a brahmachari is like, no, it should be very clear, black and white. Well, if you're planning to get married, you're not brahmachari anymore. It's very clear, because it's a mental state. And what's the problem with that, for God's sake? The goal of life is not saffron. The goal of life is love of God. You know who told me that? I tell you. I'm preaching here in Bengal for many years. And many years ago, I met one Prabhu. He was in charge of the Bengali BBT. We used to travel together with these brahmacharis and preach in different places as Westerners. And I was the group leader. And I met him many times. Once I asked him, oh, you're not going to take sannyas. He said, Mataji, the goal of life is love of God, not sannyasi. This is what he told me. So it's a misunderstanding that a person wants to keep the saffron cloth at any cost, thinking that this will save them. And this is completely wrong. This is not the goal of life. And this should be clear. So none of us will be cheated. We don't cheat and we don't get cheated. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Varahacharya
Acharya Prabhu, please kindly unmute now and speak.
All right, thank you. I got many of the points Mataji is making. She did say that, yes, the organization should have taken responsibility, but there is no system in place. I mean, she said many things, which are correct. And I mean, I'm not into controversy, but I also like to clear some points. The fact that we were naive or people were naive when they joined ISKCON, I don't believe that. And that because maybe it is only in West Africa, it's not true. I was in a podcast program by Damodara Prabhu in England, in UK. And in that podcast Zoom program, he mentioned very clearly many times, in fact, it's a lot to say, but I just summarize what he said. That ISKCON has lost a lot of manpower because there was no system in place to engage them as they are progressing or as they are entering into another phase of their life. This is an historical fact. This is an historical fact. And that's what I'm saying, that it's an historical fact. I mean, this is somebody in UK. He said a lot of things, which I could not repeat here. But I just want to make it clear that this is not only in West Africa, it is all over the world. And it's not because people were naive, but it's because they surrendered. And they followed what the institution was telling them. I am not playing a victim. I've never played a victim. I am one of the first, in fact, I was the first person who gave birth to child, who got married and gave birth in ISKCON, West Africa. I was the first person. The person who was married before me, Srivas Prabhu never had a child. And it was not, people were saying that is the example of marriage life. If you get married, that time, that's what they thought. I got married, I had a child, and I never at any time blamed ISKCON for anything. My son is successful. He's now in America. He has his own company. He's into insurance. He went to school. He did engineering. He has 2 masters. I have my second son. He's also schooling. I've never played victim. I've never blamed ISKCON. I've taken responsibility for myself, for everything I'm doing in ISKCON. So I'm not playing victim, but I want us to put, things to perspective. Historical fact, we should not say that in Africa, because we are blind. No, things are changing in ISKCON today. My guru used to say it, that ISKCON is a young organization and it has to go through many teaching problems. And there's a lot of things that is going on as trial and error. So, I mean, he made our mind at rest at some of these mistakes. So many of those, some of us, of course, accepted it as part of the growth. But to want to brush it aside or that it's not the system, no, that's what I'm saying, no. And I'm learning because I'm opening centers. My goal is to open as many temples as possible before I leave my body. So, and I'm working on opening more centers. But I really want to also learn if there is such a way to make those who are coming and joining and serving, make them comfortable without changing Prabhupada's system. Giving donation, giving maintenance, or not salary, these are just different semantics. I know that ISKCON is paying salary now to most of their devotees around the world, especially in the Western world. But still, it's not the philosophy, and it is not supposed to be the system. So I'm just asking questions. I'm not condemning anything. I'm just asking questions.
Let me ask you a question. Are you part of the management?
I have my own. No, I'm not on that GBC, right?
Are you part of any management?
Of course, I am managing my own centers.
Or you manage your center. Prabhu, let me tell you something who will really help. I have my own project, and in my project, I give the rules. So, and I am peaceful. What other people do is out of our control, but we can do what is in our hands. So this is, because this is a Bhagavatam class, we have to bring any discussion that arrow or point us the self-realization goal. And if you have you're responsible about your own activities. In the time of death, nobody else will respond about what you did. Other people do, like if you are a leader and you are neglecting your community, neglecting people under you. Prabhupada said that if GBCs done that, if the GBC they do that, they will pay big reaction. But this is between that leader, his congregation, Jamaraj, and Krishna. Nothing to do with the individual person. Because there are 12 people here watching this class, and I am the speaker, and I have to point the solution where we meet Krishna in the end. I have to do that. So I have to tell this to you. In your center, you apply what you believe. In my project, I apply what I believe. This is what we do. And what we do will make the difference in the time of death and how we do. That's the only point. And here in Bhagavatam class, we have to talk about that. But then if I am a marketing consultant and MBA in HR, and if I am in a meeting where we talk about managerial systems, these things, and then I may say something else. But here we have to point the exit of the samsara. And that means we have what others do is their problem, not ours. Although we can manifest, we can say something, but it's a minimum, because we have no control, and what they are doing, we have no influence in the time of death in our spiritual advancement. Theirs, not ours. Okay, so it's very late. If there is no other question, we have to finalize here.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, I'm going to summarize the class and then we'll come to an end. Thank you very much, everyone, for your contributions. All your contributions are wonderful. They are all genuine and sincere contributions to this class. That makes the class very lively, very interactive. We thank you all for bringing out your minds, because if the speaker speaks and nobody responds, then there is no interactions. And Bhagavatam is supposed to be interaction. So
I provoke them.
Exactly. So thank you all for your contributions.
They become like, oh my God, I have to say something.
Thank you all for your contributions.
It's especially
a pleasure.
Thank you very, very much.
NITYA KISHORE for your thought-provoking class. Thank you very much for the thought-provoking class.
Thought-provoking. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Yeah. So, it's over 2 hours. So I'll request all of the devotees now. Let us, it's actually the weekend. This is the last day of the week. And then we'll have a break for the weekend. We'll be having studies. And then on Monday, we'll come back to the Bhagavatam class. For those of us who are in West Africa or anywhere, on Sunday, we are having a memorial Zoom meeting for His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. The meeting is by 2 p.m. GMT, that is 2 p.m. Ghana time, 3 p.m. Nigerian time, GMT 2 p.m. So for any one of us who are interested or we wish to join that memorial service, please we request that you please kindly join us. So we thank you all very much. At this point, let us all unmute ourselves and loudly chant in path Mother Nitya Kishore for this wonderful class.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Prabhupada ki jai, agora my last message.
Okay.
If you don't have something to die for, you have nothing to live for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Give everything, no fear. Speed up.
Thank you very much. If you don't have something to die for,
Hare Krishna. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. So we meet again Monday. Hare Krishna.